United States, it is a semi-democratic, white-dominated, hierarchical, racist society that aims to preserve privilege by the elites. That's how it was formed in 1787. It was a slave-owning, genocidal country, killing Native Americans for a white culture. It was a slave-owning, genocidal country, killing Native Americans for a white culture. But amazingly, it still looks that way, although we're much more diverse now than we were. The most violent country in the world in the 19th century, by far, was perhaps the most democratic or second most democratic, and that was Britain. You can be democratic at home and ruthlessly imperial abroad. The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. It's been by far involved
Jeffrey,
in more,
stop
wait,
now.
in more wars.
Jeffrey, Jeffrey, I'm your moderator, and it's enough.
When I look at my own country,
Alright, Shalom, Shalom. Here we go again. Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Quadash, as well as a double honors upon to the elders and apostles of GMS, Great Millstone, whom I've learned this truth under. And I got this video from the beloved brother Hebrew Israelite Milk, Yakinan Nawak. Okay, a very diligent brother, and been meaning to further go in because I clipped this a few weeks ago, and I've been meaning to highlight further on this guy because he was exposing Esau's dark history of wickedness, war, death, and bloodshed. And like always, Esau's always got to be perceived or viewed or put himself out as the hero when really this man's the villain. He built his kingdom off villainy, off death, off bloodshed, off wickedness, okay? And when that information gets further exposed, he like a bitch, he panics, okay? And you already know they were screaming in his microphone, shut him up, silence him, stop it, make him stop. that guy was going in, and he was exposing Esau's true nature, okay? In this man's history, the scriptures speak that this man would move on the earth as a vagabond, and it also speaks in Isaiah the 14th chapter, in the kingdom to come, these nations are going to narrowly look upon this man because of all the death and bloodshed. He's spoiled many nations, okay? And further that is being revealed, also coinciding with this man's downfall, and we love to see it. And I'm Lord willing this be edifying. I'm gonna bounce around, between a couple chapters, and then hit the point home. Let's start with Habakkuk 2 verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay, and that's what we see more and more. This man, he's got these statues all across the world, and the scriptures speak on that as well as servants upon horses, because this man's really truly the basis of all men. This is just his time, his little season to be let loose. Well, that season is coming to an end, and all them statues, all the history, and what he used to, as well as his holidays of standing on pride for his bloodshed, is now being turned into shame. Okay, let's get Psalm 64 and start at verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, talking about the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And I don't know if this guy's an Edomite or not, because it's not about your physical appearance, okay, about your bloodline, okay. But this guy has the appearance of an Edomite, and he was straight. He was going hard, and he would have kept going too if they didn't cut him off. He was exposing all of let's go back to this, verse 8. Their tongue falling upon themselves. You got a lot of Edomites telling on themselves, okay, further showing, this man's kingdom is divided, and his time at the top is clearly coming to an end. Okay, all these nations are gathering together to take this man down, which is going to happen in this third woe, World War III. Nahum 3 verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And we seen that more and more, thanks to the internet. This man, the perverseness that goes on in a daily basis, all the madness and wickedness that this man promotes, okay, all his history, all of that is on display for the whole world to see. And everyone can clearly see, let's get this right here, that this man is clearly, the main problem. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, and this man, everywhere he touches down, he brings confusion. He brings slavery, colonization. He takes the resources of the land and then, hogs it all for himself, and then oppresses those people in that land. Let me also get that. Oppress a man in his own house. That's what this man does. And he started that, right here on the Israelites, Northern Kingdom's land. So-called Hispanics and Native Americans. This is Micah 2. We'll start at the top. Woe, meaning destruction, to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay, that's what we see this man do. And then he puts his face up. He calls all the lands he done took by his gift, his blessing, the sword, by way of bloodshed, and names them after himself. But there's a price that comes with that. And we gonna highlight, specifically on him, slaughtering the Israelites. Okay, and that's how he built his kingdom off. But there's a severe price this man is about to pay. And Lord willing, we endure long enough to witness this. Deuteronomy 28 verse 49 and 50. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And ain't the United States, their national bird being the eagle. Okay, this man, he moves like a prideful eagle. Okay, but as the scriptures say, the Lord is going to take this man down off his little perch, his little high horse. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Okay, this man, look at what he did to Emmett Till. He don't give a damn if you young or you old. This man has no sympathy, no type of remorse. Okay, but now all of that is getting blown back in his face, and he can't handle it. Going back to this video, they had to cut him off from telling the truth. This is what when I was in school, they used to teach all this. They would kind of wash it up. But this is the truth that this man spoke, and nothing a liar hates more, and his biggest opposition to a liar than the truth. Let's go back to Habakkuk 2, and we'll start at verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. And that's this. All of America's history was built off death, bloodshed, war, violence against the Israelites. Okay, these so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, and especially the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes, Benjamin, so-called West Indians, Jamaicans, Levi, so-called Haitians, all of this man, he done beat the Israelites, and yet to this day, speaks on that Baruch 3 verse 8, yet to this day, we are under this man's hand. That's why the Lord is going to come with a cruel punishment upon Esau, Edom. Nahum 3 verse 1, woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. And once again, we are yet this day in our captivity. But the beauty of it is seeing all the telltale signs of this coming to an end. The scriptures also speak on better is the end of the thing than the beginning. We are at the end of this man's wicked rulership. Okay, and we pray for this to be expedited, because Matthew 24 speaks on no flesh shall be saved, unless the days be shortened for the elect's sake. You let this man stay in power, everything gonna die under this man's watch. This man's crazy as hell, and he needs to be taken out, just like he rose up to power. He rose up in violence. That's how he's going to be taken out. Numbers 35 verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Okay, and this is that bloody city. This is that bloody land. This is a giant tombstone of the Israelites. Go to any state, I guarantee is going to be a history of Jacob, our people, getting slaughtered out here. This place is basically one big graveyard for the Israelites. Okay, Obadiah 1 verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that, once again, that shameful spewing of this man's history, he can't handle it. He got to always pretend like he's the good guy. But nah, bro, you're the bad guy, Esau. You're the true villain, okay? And you're going to pay. As well as you Amalekites, you wish people as well, who funded those slave ships and have been sitting at the top of the earth. Numbers 24 verse 20 also speaks on Amalek, y'all gonna perish forever. The nation of Edom is the only nation prophesied to not receive any mercy in the kingdom to come, and this is what we're waiting for. Because 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9, I get this out a lot. For Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of it come that followeth. Okay, so we can't get to our kingdom when we're on top until we witness the downfall of this man's wicked queendom. As well as Revelation 12 verse 12, the devil coming down with great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. All right, as well as the next chapter 13 verse 10 speaks on he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And all this information coming out on this man, and then exposing his history of bloodshed. He's pretty soon he just gonna cut off the internet. He's gonna make it harder. He's gonna start further censoring YouTube, and you're not gonna be able to speak out against this man. Just like the that guy that got took out. We gotta talk even more in code. That got took out. Okay, Captain KIRK, he got his ass taken out, and now you speak up against him. He's got a database to make you lose your job. I thought this country was built off freedom of speech. I thought this was built off the right to bear arms. But those first two amendments, he's plotting to take away, and that's when this is gonna come. We're not gonna be able to get this word while you can, because pretty soon he's gonna persecute the true men of the Lord, preaching in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay, Amos 8 verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And that's rapidly coming. This man's getting more draconian, and more his society is becoming more dystopian. And we know that right around that corner is that chip. And this man he sent in all these martial law, or these troops in these cities. This is just the beginning. Okay, him about to come down with great wrath, and him revealing his horns. But all these nations can see that. okay, and his time is limited. His shot clock is running out. This just a further example. As soon as you bring up the history and keep going on the history of this man, he can't handle it, and he tries to silence you. I hope this was edifying. Shalom.